Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Can you enable screen?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, got it, Mataji.
Okay, welcome everyone. Who's there? Thank you, Minita Mataji, Aditya, Rajiv, Advait, Shaurya, Srinidhi, Vikyat, Niranjana is new. Advait is new too?
Mataji, I used to join, I stopped and then I started again.
Oh, good, Advait. Okay. Yeah, Srinidhi, Shaurya, Vikyat, yeah, Varun and Aditya are also missing. Okay, so let's start with prayers. Please tell after me. Is my audio clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Is my video clear?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, so let's start. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaham. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we are going to chant this Maha Mantra 21 times with focus and attention. And we are going to hear the Maha Mantra and we are going to pray to the Lord when we are chanting that please engage me in your service. Okay, so who wants to do that? If everyone chants, it may not be possible to concentrate. So I want one person who can chant and everyone can chant on mute and you can count in your fingers. We'll do 21 times.
I can, Mataji.
Aditya?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Aditya. Start.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Wow, that was so nice chanting, Aditya. Do you chant every day?
Yes, Mataji.
How do you have a count? How many rounds you chant?
For now, Mataji, I'm with school starting. I'm trying my best, Mataji, to do as many as I can a day. I try to do at least 2 a day, but some
Good.
days I end up doing more.
That's great. That's wonderful. Keep it up. And your chanting is so good. You're pronouncing very nicely each and every syllable. And I can see that you have a prayerful mood. It's so nice, Aditya. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, so we are in chapter 13, right? So let's recite the verses that we did so far in chapter 13. Who want to do 13.8? Anybody who wants to do 13.8?
If no one else wants to, Mataji, I can.
Yes, please.
Okay. Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshantirarjavam acharyopasanam saucham stairyam atma vinigraha.
Perfect, Aditya. Thank you. Can you read the translation also?
You mean, Mataji, you mean like the translation for like all of the 8 through 12?
Okay, yeah. Let's finish the whole thing and then I can ask one person to do the translation. Okay. The next one. Who wants to do 13.9?
Mataji, can Shaurya do it?
Yes, Shaurya.
Okay. Indriyarteshu vairagyam arhankare evacha janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam.
Wonderful, Shaurya. Very good. Okay, next 13.10. Who can do?
Mataji, if nobody's doing it, should I do it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Asaktirana bisvanga putradara grahadishu nityam cha samachittatvam ishtanishtopapatishu.
That's wonderful. So we did 13.10. So anybody else who has not told the shloka so far, you want to say?
Mataji, can I do one from 12th chapter?
Yeah, maybe first we'll finish the ones from 13th chapter. We are going 13:10.
Okay,
I want someone, if you can say 13:11. Prahalad, you know 13:11?
Yes, Mataji.
Mai Chanana.
Yogena Bhakti Ravyabhicharini Vibhiktasya Sevitvam Arati Samsadi.
Perfect. Very, very good. Okay, 13.12.
Can I say, Mataji?
Yes, Vikyat.
Adhyatmajnana nityatvam tatvajnanarthadarshanam etadjnanam iti proktam ajnanam yadatonyatha.
Very good. Thank you. So that's what we did. The 13th, 8 to 12 verses. And today we'll be doing 15. But before that, I wanted to, let's read what happens till 15 text in 13th chapter. Let me, let's go to, hopefully Veda base is working. Yes, it is. So let's go to 13th chapter and kind of understand what's happening till now, till text 15. So the title of the chapter is Nature, Enjoyer, and Consciousness. So I want some volunteers to, we'll take turns and read the translations, and we can pause and understand after a few translations what's going on. Anyone would read text 1 and 2?
Can I, Mataji?
Yes, Vikya.
Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know all about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field of the knowledge, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge, and the object of knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said. This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field."
Thank you, Vikya. So Arjuna is asking about, I want to know about Prakriti, Purusha, field, the knower of the field, knowledge, and object of knowledge. 6 questions Arjuna is asking, and Krishna is answering. First, field and the knower of the field, Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So field, this body is called the field, and the knower of the body is called, the soul is the Kshetrajna, the one who knows the field. Okay. Anyone who can read text 3, 4, and 5?
Mataji, can I?
Yes, Shaurya.
O Skyan of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. The knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in the Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect.
Okay, so here in these 3 shlokas, he's saying that how he's going to give a brief description of the body and then the soul. And he's saying that this is actually the description of the field of activities about the body, about the elements and all. And the knower of the field of activities is the soul, and how the soul is in the body, how the soul influences the body. So he's going to say about this. And also he's saying that this knowledge is presented in Vedanta Sutra. So what he is giving this, the 13th chapter is like a summary of all the Vedanta Sutra. Okay, 6, 7. Who can read?
Mataji, can I?
Yes, go ahead.
The 5 great elements, false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind, the 5 senses, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, and aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions, all these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So we remember. Do you remember a shloka in the 7th chapter which talks about 8 elements? That Krishna says, this is my separated material energy. Anyone remembers from the 7th chapter? Starts with Bhumi, Bhumirapo, okay, so the shloka is Bhumirapo nalo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yamme binna prakritirashtada. So 5 elements and false ego, intelligence, and the unmanifested, which represents the 3 modes, the 10 senses, and the mind, the 5 sense objects. Senses are the 5 working senses, and object is the eyes, object is sight, the ear object is sound, The skin object is touch. Like that way, the sense objects, then he says desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate of all this, all are considered to be the field of activities and its interactions. Now, 8 to 12, that's what we did now. And let's see what he says about 8 to 12. Anyone who wants to read 8 to 12?
Mataji,
Mataji.
can I read the triple?
Okay, who has not read so far? Okay, Prahlad, you can go.
Humility, should I read the whole thing?
Yeah, humility to ignorance.
Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the object of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from the entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
So all this is what we did last class, last few classes. So what does Krishna describe all these qualities as? Can anyone say? The answer is in this translation only.
He's describing like whatever knowledge there is in the world, and everything else apart from these characteristics are ignorance.
Describing about the self-realization and the absolute truth.
Very good. Both of you are right. So all this, he says that he declares to be knowledge. So if one is not humble, that means, is he knowledge or ignorance?
Ignorance.
Ignorance, right? So if one is violent, is he knowledge or ignorant?
Ignorant.
If one has unalloyed devotion to Krishna?
Knowledgeable.
Very good. If one does not approach a bona fide spiritual master?
Ignorance.
Okay, if one is steady, clean, and have self-control?
Knowledgeable.
Yeah. See, so that is the thing. So Krishna says that if we have all this, then we have knowledge. Otherwise, we are in ignorance. Okay, text 13. Who can say? Who can read?
Mataji, I can read.
Yes, Aditya.
I shall now explain the noble, knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world.
Okay, so you see, so Krishna, after he's explaining about knowledge, he's starting to explain about Brahman. It is beginningless and it is subordinate to me, is beyond the cause and effect of this world. Okay, text 14. Can anyone read text 14?
Mataji, I can go.
Yes, Srinidhi.
Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the supersoul exists, pervading everything.
Yeah. So thank you. Now he's telling about the super soul. How the super soul has hands, legs, heads, and faces, ears everywhere in this world. We have our hands, legs, heads, faces, and ears in one place in our body. But Krishna, as Paramatma, he has his everywhere. So now let's go to text 15. Let's see what further he explains about the super soul. Okay, please repeat after me. Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Nirgunam gunamritricha.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Thank you. So let's do the whole shloka. Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya gunabhasam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Sarvendriya vivarjitam.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Asaktam sarvabhrachaiva.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Nirgunam gunabhoktracha.
Okay, so let's do the synonyms. I'm going to ask you the Sanskrit or English and you can answer. Cha.
Cha.
What is
Also.
very good? Okay, master of the gunas.
Guna Bhokta.
Gunabhoktra.
Yeah, only Aditya and Srinidhi and now Vikyant are answering. I want everyone to participate, please. Senses.
Indriya.
Good job. The original source.
Abhasam.
Good job. The maintainer of everyone.
Sarvavrit.
Sarvabhrit.
Without attachment.
Asaktam.
Of all.
Sarva.
Good job. Certainly.
Eva.
Of the qualities.
Guna.
Senses.
Indriya.
Being without.
Vivarjitam.
Good job. Okay, now
Vivarjitam.
tell me what Sarvendriya Gunabhasam means.
The original source of all the senses and qualities.
Very good. The original source of all the senses and qualities. Sarvendriya Vivarjitam.
Being without senses.
Very good. Being without senses. Asaktam Sarva Brichaiva.
Without attachment.
He is
And
the
he's the maintainer of everyone.
Good job. Nirgunam Guna Bhoktracha.
He transcends in the mode of nature.
Without
and
material qualities, he is a master of the gunas.
of material nature.
Very good. Yeah, he's without material qualities, but he's also the master of the gunas. Okay. I want one person to repeat after me the translation. The super soul.
The super soul
Is the original source of all senses.
is the original source of all senses.
Yet he is without senses.
Yet he is without senses.
He is unattached,
He is unattached,
although he is the maintainer of all living beings.
although he is a maintainer of all living beings.
He transcends the modes of nature,
He transcends the modes of nature,
and at the same time,
and at the same time,
he is a master of all the modes of material nature.
he is the master of all the modes of material nature.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you questions that answers you can find in this translation. Who is without senses?
The super
The
soul.
super soul.
Okay, and tell me five qualities of super soul from this translation.
He is without senses, he is unattached and transcends the modes of material nature, and maintainer of all living beings, and master of all modes of material nature.
Very good, Srinidhi. Okay, so you see there is contradictory. Sorry.
I'm Hasini Mataji, I'm not
Oh yeah.
Srinidhi.
Okay, I'm sorry, Hasini. Yeah. That was
Yeah,
great,
that's okay.
Hasini. Okay, so you see, find out the contradictory qualities from here.
He's the original source of the senses.
He's the original source of senses, and what is contradictory to that or opposite to that?
He is without senses.
Yes, you see, he's a source of all senses, but he's without senses. And suppose you are maintaining a pet, or you sow a seed and then the plant grows and you're watering to it. So you're attached to it, right? Whatever you maintain, the parents maintain the children and then they get attached to the children. Like that way, the family has a pet, they maintain the pet, and then the family gets attached to the pet or grows some flowers in the garden, something. So we get attached when we are maintaining. But in that respect, what are the two opposite qualities of the Lord? Is he attached because he's maintaining?
No, Mataji.
No.
Yes, that's another second pair of contradictory qualities. He's unattached, although he's a maintainer of all living entities. Tell me the third one. With respect to the modes of material nature, what are his qualities? Can anyone say?
He's unattached.
Yeah, that is with respect to the living beings, because although he's a maintainer. With respect to modes of nature,
Mataji, what's the question?
what are his qualities with respect to the modes of nature?
He's the master of the modes of nature.
Very good. And one more?
He's also not bound by them.
Material qualities.
Yes, he transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he's a master of all the modes of material nature. So let's see Srila Prabhupada's purport and understand that. So you see, there are three seemingly contradictory qualities. He's a source of all the senses, but he's without senses. He's unattached, although he's a maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he's a master of all the modes of material nature. Okay, so we saw that how the Supreme Lord is a source of all senses of all living entities, right? Because that's what he said in the previous shloka, that everything comes from him. Desire, hatred. We discussed that shloka, right? The five working senses, the sense objects, the knowledge acquiring senses, everything is coming from him. So he is the source of all the senses of living entities. So what does that mean, that he does not have senses? Means he does not have senses like the living entities. So we all have senses, right? What are the senses we have? What do you mean by senses?
Okay, you can go.
Any answer? What do you mean by senses?
Well, what we mean by senses is like your ears, your mouth, your nose, your eyes.
Yes, they're sensing something, right?
Yeah.
Are they not sensing something? So they're called senses. Very good. They are the senses. But our senses are covered by material modes of nature, material energy. We all have spiritual senses and spiritual body. But when we take birth, the spiritual senses is covered by material energy, and that's why we interact with matter. But Krishna's senses is not covered by material energy. In that sense, in that case, he does not have senses like the senses that he created for the individual soul. But what is he called as? He's called as Nirguna, because he does not have material senses or senses that are covered by the material modes of nature. What do you mean by senses covered by material modes of nature? Anyone knows? Okay,
Senses that are being influenced by like the like we're using something being influenced by our mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So we can be using the mouth in the mode of ignorance by like speaking badly about people.
Wonderful, Aditya. That was very, very nice. Yes. So any organ in any mode of nature, if the mouth is in the mode of goodness, then we glorify the Lord, glorify the devotees. But it's in the mode of passion, we always say, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to achieve this, I have to become big. I, everything. And then, as you said, in ignorance, then we start degrading others. So the same mouth. So like that way, our senses are covered, but Krishna's senses are not covered. That is why he's called Nirguna. He's untouched by the material modes of nature. That's why he is totally uncontaminated. But all of us in this material world, we are contaminated. If we are not contaminated, then you should be able to say that in my life so far, I've never been behaving badly. I've never been in the mode of passion or ignorance. I've never gotten angry. I've never had in jealousy, lusty, greed, illusion. Can we say that? Can anyone here say that?
No, Mataji.
Right? So this is a practical proof that we are covered by and contaminated. Our senses are contaminated by the material modes, but Krishna's senses are not. Why we have to understand like this? If we understand this is the supreme position of the Lord, then only we'll be able to develop appreciation and glorification for the Lord. And also, if anyone else is claiming to be God, you can ask them, do you think your senses are not contaminated at all? Like Krishna's senses? Okay. So let's go to the next thing. Who can volunteer to read?
Mataji, I can do it.
Yes,
Mataji,
Srinidhi.
can Advait read?
Okay, Srinidhi, go ahead with this. Advait, you can read the next slide.
Okay.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead has no hands which are materially contaminated, but he has his hands and accepts whatever sacrifice is offered to him. That is the distinction between conditioned soul and super soul.
Yes, very good. Thank you. So he has no hands, right? That's what we read. He has no hands which are materially contaminated or limited. but he has his hands and accepts whatever sacrifice is offered to him. Can you give me an example of this? Do you know the story, what you see in this picture? Anybody knows who is the saint?
Madhavendra Puri.
Yes, Vikyat, Madhavendra Puri. What's the story of Madhavendra Puri?
I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, let's discuss that. Okay, Madhavendra Puri was so much into chanting, and of course, do you know who's the disciple of Madhavendra Puri?
Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu.
Very good. Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Prabhu, and one more person?
Ishwara Puri.
Ishwara Puri. Do you know who's the disciple of Ishwara Puri?
Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Madhavendra Puri is like, comes in that line before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was so much engrossed in Krishna consciousness that he would never go out and even beg for himself. So he came to Vrindavan and he's constantly chanting. Then one time, he doesn't go out and collect food or beg food or do anything on his own. Simply he chants. Then one day when he was chanting, one small boy got him a pot of milk, telling that, you in this village, you are a great saint. You have come to this village, but nobody in this village goes hungry. So I've got some milk for you. So Madhavendra Puri was so captivated with this boy's, how nicely he's talking, how nicely he's looking. Then he says that, how do you know that I am staying hungry? Then he said that from the village, my mom sent me this, asked me to go and give this to you. So you please, that's how I know. You please drink this milk and then I will collect the pot later. And he went away. He never came. He went away so swiftly. And Madhavendra Puri was looking at the direction, so enchanted. He didn't come as Krishna though. He was coming as in disguise. Then Madhavendra Puri started drinking the milk. That milk, wow, you can imagine the milk in the spiritual world is so good. I also don't know how it tastes, but I know that it tastes so good. Wonderful it tastes. So he was tasting and tasting and tasting, and he thought that this milk is not from this world. It tastes so good. Then suddenly he was waiting for that boy to come. After that, he was not able to concentrate his chanting. His attention goes to that boy. Then he thought, okay, let him come to collect this a pot back. I will talk to him more to find out about him. And he's thinking about the boy. Did the boy come back? No. He didn't. Yes, he did not. Then he got Krishna in his dream and said that this was me. Then he was so happy, and he also broke the pot and pounded it, and he ate that pot also because it was touched by Krishna. So Madhavendra Puri, like this way, we can see that Krishna has hands and legs, and he accepts the offering with his hands. Do you know the story of Kirchor Gopinath? Oh, it's already late.
Yeah.
So what happened then?
So when Madhavendra Puri was passing by a village in, I don't remember the exact village. Then there's this. He heard that in that village there's a temple of Gopinath, and in that temple, there's really nice kheer. They make really nice kheer for Gopinath. So
Very
he
good.
went there to taste the kheer, and then when the pujari was offering the kheer to Gopinath, he saw it and he developed a desire to drink that kheer before it was offered. So he he
For
thought
what?
it was really bad of himself. So
Yeah.
then he went away from the temple and then just chanted the whole night. And in the night, when the pujari was putting the deities to sleep, Krishna stole one bottle of kheer and then put it behind him. And he called for the pujari to go out and call for Madhavendra Puri to have this kheer.
Wonderful, Vikya. Thank you so much. That was very beautiful rendition of the story. So one small addition, that Madhavendra Puri wanted to taste the kheer. For what purpose? So that he thought, I can make the same kheer to my Gopal. For that purpose, he wanted to taste. Then he was thinking, oh, when the pujari is taking the kheer for offering, how can I think like this? This is not proper. So then he condemned himself and he went to the marketplace. But finally, Krishna, how could Krishna have taken the offering by his hand, right? Krishna took the offering of kheer that the pujari made, 12 pots or so, and one pot he removed and he kept it behind his curtain. Then he came in the dream. Then the pujari took the rest. He did not count. He just distributed the prasadam and then he went to sleep. Then in the night, Gopinath is telling, I have taken one kheer for my devotee and kept it. So Krishna has definitely hands with which he accepts the sacrifice. But we don't have hands everywhere. But Krishna is present everywhere. So he can from anywhere accept the offerings. Okay, Advait, you wanted to read, right? Advait, do you want to read?
Yes, Mataji, sorry, I went inside to get something.
Okay.
He has no material eyes, but he has eyes. Otherwise, how could he see? He sees everything past, present, and future.
Yes. You see, he sees everything past, present, and future. Here is one example of this. What is this picture? Can anyone say something about this?
When Krishna appeared, he was telling Devaki and Vasudeva about their previous lives.
Wonderful, Vikyat. What did he tell? Do you know?
Not exactly sure, Mom.
Okay, so immediately he took the Vishnu form and he said that this is your third birth. Previous to previous birth, you were doing so much austerities that, and then when I appeared in devotional service, when I appeared to you, you said that you want me to be born as your son. So you were Sutapa and Prishni, and I was born to you as Prishni Garbha. Then in the second life, you became Aditi and Kashyapa. I was born to you as Upendra. And in third life now, you are Vasudeva and Devaki, and I'm born to you as Krishna. So if he has if he doesn't know the past, how can he say this, right? And there is one shloka where he says this to Arjuna. This will be your homework, okay? Find out that shloka from the 4th chapter where Krishna tells about his past lives. Okay, so next slide. Who wants to read?
Mataji, can I read?
I read. This is Prahlad.
Yes, Hasini and then Prahlad later, the next slide.
Okay. He lives within the heart of all living beings, and he knows what we have done in the past, what we are doing now, and what is awaiting us in the future. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. He knows everything, but no one knows him.
Yes. You see, we knew that he knows about every single person's past, present, and future. What was I in the previous life and how I lived my life, where I lived my life. I completely forgot now. But Krishna knows. And previous to previous life, what I was there, 10 lives before that, what I was, everything Krishna knows. There is a shloka for this. Anyone knows a shloka? That he himself is personally telling that I know the past, I know the present, and I know the future. I think that is in the...
Mataji, can you tell the starting word?
Okay, I'm not going to say the starting word, but I'm going to say the chapter in which it is there. It is 7th chapter.
7th chapter.
Yeah, you go. So there are 2 homeworks. One is to find out what Krishna says about his past lives. That is in the 4th chapter. And then this one is what Krishna says about him knowing the past, present, and future in the 7th chapter. If you could find out by the end of this class also, it's great. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. Prahalad, can you read this?
Okay. It is said that the Supreme Lord has no legs like us. He can travel throughout space because he has spiritual legs. In other words, the Lord is personal. He has his eyes, legs, hands, and everything else.
Yes, so he doesn't have legs like that. When we go fast, sometimes when we bike so much, our legs hurt, and then you say that, "Mommy, you put some thing in my legs, it's hurting," right? No, Krishna doesn't have legs like us, but he can travel throughout space because he has legs that are not limited, and that is spiritual legs. Do you know the story? In this picture, anyone? This is a battlefield, and Krishna is...
Kurukshetra.
No, sorry.
Mataji, this Nagasura?
No, he's not Narakasura, but he is... you see, Krishna is walking fast, and there is one person who's trying to catch Krishna.
Mataji, I know this. This is like I don't know that Asura's name, but the story is that one Asura came to Krishna where he is living in to Vrindavan or Barsana. So what happened means Krishna is not fear of that Asura, but he was just going back. He was just going back and running. So that Asura is also running. But that Asura is thinking that Krishna is fear of him, but Krishna is not fear of him. Like there is a reason why Krishna is running. Like Yashoda Mata would see. So that is the reason he is running, Mataji. So Krishna thought that where Yashoda Mata is not there, to there he would go and kill him.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a different story, but that also has Krishna running and a demon following him. That's nice. You're partially correct, but this is in Dwarka. You see the battlefield? There was this person called Kala Yavana. So Kala Yavana
Yes,
came...
Mataji, I told this story only. Kala Yamana. I can remember now. It's not Barsana, it's Dwaraka, yes.
Yes, very good. So Kala Yavana, when Krishna didn't want to fight with Kala Yavana, Krishna started running from the battlefield. And because Krishna is running, Kala Yavana also started running. Kala Yavana wanted to catch Krishna and punch him. But when Kala Yavana was running, Krishna was just about to touch Krishna, but he's never able to touch Krishna. He's always this close to Krishna, but he can't touch Krishna. Krishna's keep on walking fast, running, and Kala Yavana is running forever. Kala Yavana is chasing. And then finally, Kala Yavana saw Krishna enter into a cave and disappear. So Krishna, Kalayavana came inside the cave. And there was a person who was lying down, covered. So he thought that Krishna is lying down in fear of him. And he was so bad-mannered. And he started kicking that fellow who was sleeping. So touching someone by leg is very bad. If by accident, if our leg touches someone, we need to ask pardon to them, because Krishna is there in everyone's heart. So Kalayavana ran into the caves and then he kicked this sleeping person, and the sleeping person woke up and he looked at Kalayavana, who woke him up from sleep, and fire came from his eyes. And Kalayavana was burned to ashes. Then this person, this king who's sleeping, is looking around, and Krishna comes there from inside. So that sleeping king was Muchukunda. Muchukunda had a boon from the Devas that he was so tired. He was fighting for Devas for a long time. Then when they asked, what do you want? He said, I just want to sleep. Sometimes when you're so tired, you cannot even keep your eyes open. Then at that time, you don't want anything else, but you want to sleep. So he said, I want to sleep. And if anyone disturbs me, when I get up, then my fire should emanate from my eyes. That's the boon I want. Why he asked like that? That was inspired by Paramatma within, who's Krishna. So this happened many yugas before, and Krishna exactly knew in which cave this king was sleeping. So he went inside the cave and hid, and Kalayavana was burnt to ashes by Muchukunda's, the fire emanating from Muchukunda's eyes. Then Muchukunda glorified Krishna. You see, there is nothing that Krishna doesn't know. He's completely knowledgeable. So in Upanishad, there is the shloka, Anejadekam manaso javiyo naina deva apnuvan purvam ashad taddavatonya natyeti tishtat tasmin napo matarishva dadati. It is the fourth verse of Sri Upanishad. You see how in this chapter Krishna said that it is a summary of all Vedanta Sutras and Upanishads. We can find each shloka, what it says in many other Vedic literatures. Okay, can anyone read the translation?
Can I, Mataji?
Yes, Vikyat.
Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place, he controls those who supply the air and rain. He surpasses all in excellence.
Yes, you see, he's swifter than the mind and he can overcome all others running. He's in one place, but he controls those who supply the air and rain. So that's why he is always super excellent. Okay, then Krishna, the last slide, I think. Who wants to read this? Anyone who wants to read this?
Mataji, I can read.
Yes, Srinidhi.
For it appears as he is by his internal potency. He has his eternal form called Satchidananda Vigraha. He is full of all opulence. He is the proprietor of all wealth and the owner of all energy. He is the most intelligent and is full of knowledge. When we are elevated to the transcendental situation, we can see the Lord's form.
Yes. So Krishna appears by external energy or internal potency?
Internal potency.
How do you know that? Of course, Krishna is saying, but how do you know that practically? Anyone who is born under the influence of material modes of nature, will they be born with 4 hands?
No.
Will they be born with a fully bedecked with jewels?
No.
Yes,
And
No.
no, right?
that
So,
is no.
yes, so Krishna appeared not like an ordinary baby, like any of us took birth. He appeared as he is by his internal potency. And what is his form called?
Satchidananda Vigraha.
Satchit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means truth, or eternality. Chit is being conscious or cognizant of everything, and knowledge or having the knowledge of everything. Ananda is blissful. So he's eternally existent. His body is never. I had a baby body, and I used to see when somebody, my cousin and me, we were together when I was in kindergarten, and she sends the picture to me. Then we say, wow, how many years this is before. But I don't have that body anymore, right? So when I become old, and then my knee is paining and I'm very old, then I don't have this body anymore. And one day when I'm quitting this body, after that I don't have this body at all, right? So my body is temporary, but Krishna's body is eternal. And I'm not conscious of everything that's happening to everyone in corner of it. I don't know. But Krishna knows. He's completely in knowledge of everything that's happening everywhere to anyone around material and the spiritual cosmos. He knows. And with all being covered by the material modes of nature, I'm always, sometimes I'm happy, but always we are in ignorance and we are lamenting, we are hankering, we are not in bliss. But Krishna is always in bliss. So that's why Satchidananda Vigraha. And what are the 6 opulences of Krishna? Do you know?
Can I say Mataji?
Yes, Vikya.
Knowledge, wealth, beauty, renunciation, strength.
Very good. Knowledge,
Just
wealth,
one more.
beauty, renunciation, strength, and did you say, okay, knowledge, wealth, power. Did you say power?
No, Mataji, doesn't that come under strength?
Yeah, that comes under strength. So he's all beautiful, all knowledgeable, all powerful, all famous,
Oh, yeah.
right? All famous, all renunciant.
Mataji,
And
I had for
yes,
for the verse we had to find for the homework. Is it in the 4th chapter, the one where he talks about his previous verse?
yes. Can you read the translation or the shloka if you know?
No, I haven't found it yet. But is it in the
Yes,
purport or in the shloka?
the shloka.
And it's in the 4th chapter?
Yes, it's in the 4th chapter.
I found the one in the 7th chapter.
What is that?
I have Vedaham samatitani vartamani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu veda na kaschana.
Good job.
Translation: As
Go ahead.
Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but no one knows me.
Very good, Vikyat. Good job, Vikyat. I'm so happy you found it. Wonderful. Yes, that's the verse. He clearly says here, see, I know everyone, but no one knows me. I know what happened in the past, what's happening in the present, and what will happen in the future. So that is Krishna. So in the 13th chapter, we know detailed aspects of how the Supreme Lord is. But why can't we see Krishna? Because we are not elevated to the transcendental situation. Once when we are elevated to the transcendental situation, then we can see the Lord's form clearly. Okay. That's it. So today we did this verse where we went through the purport, how Krishna is the source of all, everything, And he is the source of all senses, but he's without material senses. He has spiritual senses. He has spiritual legs. He has spiritual hands. He has spiritual eyes. He can see the past, present, and future. He can go everywhere, and everyone offers prasadam. He can accept it with his hands. And he is unattached, although he's a maintainer of every living being. And he transcends the modes of nature, and he's a master of all modes of material nature. Okay, I'm so sorry. I don't have Kahoot today, but we are already late. So it's too late, 10 minutes. So we can end the, anybody has any questions? So this will be your homework shloka. Please memorize the shloka. Keep reading it every day, 5, 10 times or 11 times. Then by the weekend, you'll be able to remember this. Any questions? Divyansh, nice to see you, but I didn't get to hear you, Divyansh.
That's because I had to come late.
Okay, no problem. Arush, is the first time you're joining, Arush? Rajeshwari Mataji, are you from Atlanta, Rajeshwari Mataji? Or is it someone else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Shri Krishna. No, I'm from Singapore.
Sorry, you're in?
I'm from Singapore.
Oh, Singapore, okay. Nice, Mataji, nice to have you
Hare
here.
Krishna. Hare Krishna
Krishna.
Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranams. Thank you. So anybody has any questions?
No.
Okay, Divyansh, I want to hear your voice. Your voice is so sweet. Next class, you can read, okay? Advait also. So see you all very much next week with another shloka from the 13th chapter. Let's see what Krishna says. Thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, for supporting all the classes. And let's offer obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyas Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Keep continuing to chant at least one round every day. Okay, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. See you next week.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.